Creative Corner. I'm your host, Keyanna Harper, and today we have a very special guest joining us. She's a visionary, a leader, and a driving force behind a successful marketing agency that's making waves in the industry. Please welcome the CEO of Roundup Creative Agency from Toledo, Ohio, Alyssa Mortar. All right. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Not too bad. Doing pretty good. Well, introduce yourself to my audience and let them know who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Alyssa. I am in Toledo, Ohio, and I own a creative agency. So, kind of what we do is we focus on branding and building businesses. Our focus is small businesses, but our real big thing is we want everyone to have like a really good brand, specifically on social media. So, a lot of our services are adhering to just that.
Yes. Yes, yes. I totally understand that. Social media is a really big thing. And especially for small businesses, I think most small businesses should use and utilize their social media. And it's nice to see that we have a place here in Toledo for that. Because I'm really thinking about maybe once I get everything situated to definitely use you to help me with my presence. So
Yes,
that
yes,
would be
please.
perfect.
hmm
So we're gonna start off with what can you share about your stories behind what made you create the Ground Up Agency?
Yeah, so basically, I think I'm a mother. So I have twins, a girl and a boy.
Oh,
Yes, they're my heart, they're my world. So when I had them, I had just graduated college and I come from a working family. So everyone's always working. My mom, she worked all the time. Um, and she would do her best to be there all the time that she could, but unfortunately she worked a lot. So when I found out I was pregnant, and then I'm like, and it's two at the same time, I'm like, well, I got to do something different. I'm
yeah,
like, I can't just, I just can't work because I'm going to be away from my family. And I really wanted this leisure, this time. I wanted the leisure of time. And, I really wanted to work for myself in a capacity that was like I was putting energy and passion into something that I like understood and agreed with and I just believed in. So I started doing a lot of digital work by myself, and over time I started kind of growing my expertise and my skills. When you do one thing, you're kind of like, maybe I can do another, or people ask it of you. They're like, hey, I seen you do this. Do you know how to do this too? And sometimes I'm like, oh, I should learn to do that. So I kind of really started growing myself, and I got to this point where I'm like, okay, this is great. This is doing good, but I really want to take it to the next level.
right.
And so at the beginning, like I said, my name is Alyssa. I actually was calling my business A Graphics.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, working with digital, and my name started with an A. I'm like A Graphics. But
Yeah.
as I started really getting into these different skill sets, I'm like, I want this to be more of an agency. I want this to be more professional, and not just Alyssa does this, and I'm the face, but more so like, there is this entity that is pushing people forward, specifically small business owners. Because I'm in this space and I'm just like, oh, small business owners need some help. I could help them, So I created the agency, and I started everything from the ground up, hence the name Ground Up. Just because one, I started it that way, but then also I believe that every brand needs to like holistically start from the ground up. So, so many people want to run in before they walk and crawl. And it's like, oh, I want to do pictures. I want to do videos. I want to do a podcast. I want to do this. I need a website. And I'm like, do you have the colors? Do you know who you're talking to? Do you have the
Yeah.
audience? Do people even understand what you're selling to them? So the agency really kind of started because it's like people need to do a step before the designing process. And that's where I wanted us to come in.
I think that's perfect because as a small business owner, I stepped into this I'm a writer. This is what I do. This is what I'm great at. This is my passion. I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jumped in, and it was like, bam, oh, this is a lot of work. I have to know my colors. I have to know this. But, I went to Tiffin for my bachelor's. So I knew how to start a business, and I knew all the things that I needed. My brother is a graphic designer. So
Okay.
he was like, you need this, you need that, you should try this, you should. And so I took all that information and I started. I did not, I didn't go forward until I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But as I got into Obsidian People, things came in and things fell off. So now I have completely separated the two. I have Obsidian People, which is just what we're doing now, our creative corner. We talk to a lot of, small business owners and people that own and create and, artists, and inspire them, get them out, get their lives and what they do and how they do it out there. And then the other part of Obsidian People is my virtual assistant. So I push that to the side, like, okay, well, I know I've done this for 10 years. I've worked. This is what I've done. So I need to really think about taking what I know on both ends, combining them into a virtual assistant, and helping other businesses get their stuff in order
Mm-hmm.
for whatever they need it for. So I separated the two. And like you, same thing. My kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have an 18-year-old. You've met my daughter.
Yes, yes.
And
Beautiful.
it's insane because I feel like I've missed so much of her life because I'm always working. I work, I come home, I work on the business. I have 4 kids, so the other 3 I have to also cater to and running her around because she's getting ready for college, and there's so much to that. So yes, I totally understand your story, and I'm sure other people understand your story. So what other like collaborations do you find yourself getting into with a lot of your clients?
Yeah, and I feel like keeping one of my biggest things is like keeping that morality there, being that I'm a mother, but I'm a small business owner, I'm a first generation college student, I'm about my people and my community. And so those collaborations always have to sing strong to those things, so mothers who are building businesses, college students who are creative, small business owners who are like, what do I do? Like all those people are pushing forward the mission and the idea of Roundup. So it's kind of like one, when we talk about collaborations, I mean, we've worked with so many cool people. We've worked with people in the city who have high fashion brands. Simply just because I know them, right? And then when I know them and they're like, oh my gosh, you do this, and wow, you're good at doing this, and you have these people, helping you do this, we want to work with you. And that's another big thing that people, always have to remember too, is like it is a lot about what you know and what you can do, but there's a lot of good people in the world. There's a lot of talented people. It's who you are, and it's people can feel your energy. And so I think when choosing collaborations and when working with people, it's really about, is this good for us? Because, one, all money is not good money.
Exactly.
And it's just one of those things of like, is this going to push the brand further? And I'm sure you do the same thing. You may say, okay, let me see, is this person on brand? Does it make sense for them to be here? So we do that the same with, collaborations, but it is always important for that collaboration to push us forward. So working with people, so we may work with people who like are something maybe we don't always talk about or that we don't always necessarily want to like do. So we may not always get shed so much light on those collaborations because if you get so stuck in one space, people kind of associate you with that. So they're kind of like, oh, you do all of those things, and then they forget you do all those other things. So
Yeah.
you have to be very kind of like particular with, what you do and stuff. So I know our favorite things have really been with people who share that vision with propelling themselves forward and really wanting to be more than where they're at today. And that's the biggest thing, is really wanting to be in a space that is, better, and better is such a perspective, term, but being in a better space than where you were yesterday. And those collaborations always seem to be the funnest, especially when we get to bring all these creative people around. And, I'm one mind. And then when you have multiple people who are seeing things from different angles, and that's probably been like the greatest collaboration is the creative community, because creatives, and I'm a creative myself, but creatives sometimes we're so lax. We're like, yeah, I mean, we'll do it. We might. We have
Yep.
fun. Okay. I don't know. I'll apply myself potentially. I don't know.
Katie.
In business, sometimes in like networking and putting ourselves out there is not always our strong suit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like me. I'm kind of like, what if me as a creative communicating to the creative community was able to put ourselves out there, do all these things, but I can harness all the energies and talents of creative people and bring it in one space? Because, and what I started too is having a lot of different contractors come on, because you can still work for yourself and be a part of something bigger. Because I want the leisure of time just as much as I'm sure you do,
Yeah.
so let's keep it going. But definitely working with the creative community has been it's always so amazing, and seeing the new talent, and you
Yes.
know
Yes.
just seeing how people see art.
I know my daughter, that's all she raved about you so much. And she's like, Mom, you should just get with her and figure it out. And
I
that's all
love
about
that.
it.
She's
It's like,
so
she
sweet.
doesn't know me.
She's so
Like she
sweet. Oh my gosh.
I was like, she's gonna be like, what? Who is this lady? I was like, okay,
No,
I'll
no, it
do
was great.
it. I was
I'm
like,
so
I'll do it.
honored.
So yeah, I totally understand, and creatives are the most awesome people to deal with. I love my dad's a creative, my daughters are creative. I have a family full of
You're
creatives.
creative.
Yeah, it's like everybody around me they're creatives. So
Yeah.
it made sense for me to tailor things for creative and give them spaces to
Yeah.
talk, to tell people about their businesses, to put their businesses out there and just give them the space to empower other creators. Like I did it, you can do it. Let's
Mhm.
get together, let's hang out, let's talk, and that's all Obsidian People is about getting creatives together and just connecting. So
I
you
love it.
might find someone like, oh, I didn't know that person did that. She was on your creative corner. I'm going to call that person and find out what's going on and see if they can help me because I'm lacking in this area. It's all about just community, and that's basically what Obsidian People is for. I also know that in reading your website and just getting to know a bit about your company, that your agency also deals with a lot of the technology and AI, and it kind of centers itself around everything that's new that's going on right now, like Chat GPT and all that kind of stuff. Just tell our audience a little bit about how that is in your business.
Yeah. I love artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And I know some people don't always agree, with that opinion, but um, from a small business owner's perspective, I, of course, I have an education background, excuse me. I have, studied so many different things. I have taught myself so many things. Um, and it's hard.
Yes.
And it's hard to have the knowledge of 100 people in one
Yes.
body, in one lifetime. It's hard for me to know all the absolute ins and outs other than what I'm able to search, or what I'm able to, research, or, conjure up in my brain. It's just, there's so many different possibilities that I'm leaving on the table. Artificial intelligence takes away those possibilities. It gives you every single complete outcome that you may need. And so what it's doing is my favorite word, it's propelling me forward. So I come to artificial intelligence with an idea. And I'm like, hey, I think I want to offer these classes. Let's offer these classes. And I probably sat, and thought about the classes I want to offer, and, you know, have some type of information, and a big thing about artificial intelligence is knowing how to talk to it. You
Yeah.
know, it's not just Google, you know, where is the closest IHOP?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's like, you know, please, you know, create a list of classes that are based off of, you know, individuals from the range of 21 to 28 with a love for creative and, you know, creativity. What are some activities that will make them feel, you know, hands on? You have to talk to it just as if it's a human.
Person.
Like there's nothing really too crazy or different about it other than it just has all this knowledge. So it'll give something out, and then you'll be like, wow, this is great. And you're gonna be like, actually, I didn't even think about this. So now that you've thought about this for me, now I can go ahead and propel forward and I have another question. So that is putting another person, that's putting another person in the room.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you had like there's companies who are building and building and building, and people want to say, well, why are companies so much stronger than small business owners? It's because they have the willpower of many. They have the structure. They have all those people who are working in that building. They have degrees. They have experience. They
Yeah.
have years. So what small business owners need to understand is that is what artificial intelligence is for us.
Yeah.
It's leveling the playing field that for so long has been imbalanced.
Yeah.
And so we focus on the intersection of design and AI. So it's basically bridging together technology and design. So we want you to come here, and I would say we're a holistic agency. So we want you to come to us. We want to work on your social media. We want to work on the brand, how people perceive you, and all that stuff. But we do it with the help of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And in fact, you know, even some of the business development courses that I lead or the mentorship that I handle, we talk about how can you use artificial intelligence to help you do things to make your business, you know, better when it comes to like legalities, um, you know, road, any type of infrastructure.
Yes.
There's things that people are just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then they bring AI in, and it's literally turning their business into something way bigger. Someone who's like, oh, I need to hire someone to do, you know, web design or coding or something like that. AI will literally sit there and code for you.
Yes.
Some people have to sit behind a screen and code for hours. Now, as long as you know how to word it right and put the coding in, that takes web designers' time down by three.
They can put on more clients.
Yeah.
They can do work faster. I use it. I use it for a lot of different things. I use it to set up my blogs. I use it to set up my whole entire website.
Good.
I
Yeah.
I did. And then I just took whatever I didn't want to use. I took it out and I put things, I used my own creative ways of turning it into what I needed it to turn it into. It gave me the information and I took what I didn't want and I took my own brain power and used it. It took me a week to put up my website. It really,
Yeah.
it
And
took,
and I think and the biggest thing too is really um like and don't limit yourself,
yes.
you know, because it's kind of like I love, you know, running businesses. So it's kind of like when I'm ready for the next business, you know, hey, AI, give me a plan on how to start a restaurant. What
Yes.
are okay, thank you. What are some documents I need?
Yeah.
How long is the process to talk to the state? What inspections do I need?
We,
This is something that I would have to talk to multiple people, Google research, potentially go to some type of course for, have a mentor. And as long as you know how to talk to AI, you're going to get the answers. And that's just kind of the part, you know, searching something on Google is a skill.
yes.
You know? Finding someone on social media is a skill.
Yes.
AI is also a skill.
It's a,
So, yeah.
people don't think so, but the way I use I use it and it has helped me build my business plan
Mm-hmm.
for what I want Obsidian people to be. It has um, made my business plan for my nonprofit that I'm hoping to launch next year. It's it just it is perfect when you have a lot of ideas and you don't know how to get started and you don't know where to go and you don't know how much information. It is brilliant. Brilliant.
And the biggest thing too, and even beyond just using, chat GBT, but really pushing this technology is the reason we focus on it is because we're in a time where everything is shifting.
Yep.
And you can be with the trends
Yep.
or you can be left behind. And
Yep.
so it is something that Roundup pushes and prides itself to do is to help small business owners make sure they're on that trend because, yeah, we can make some flyers for you. We can design some websites, make a good social media, but how are you going to stay afloat?
Yep.
How is your business working and going to keep you moving forward? And how are you propelling yourself into a futuristic terms? Because those companies, they're going to stay aboard. They're ready. They're
Yeah.
already talking about it.
Yeah.
Where people are scared to talk about simple things right now. And it's like, you won't have a business in 5 years because everything is going to be ran by technology and
Yeah.
you're still writing notes on paper.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, but it's just one of those, it's the, it's real. It's
It is what
realistic.
it is. You either get with the
Mm-hmm.
time or get left behind.
Exactly. So
So
yeah,
every time
we do
something
love
new
it.
comes out, I need to know how to work that. How do I
Mm-hmm.
work that? How do I set that up? How I have so much knowledge in my head, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Like people ask me something, I rattle off something. Blah, 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 blah.
And
So
that's the worst part. That's the worst part. Being a key to so much knowledge and being like, sometimes you just kind of sit there for a moment and you're still because you're just like, I have so much info. What do I do with it?
yep, yep, yep. You put it in the back of the head, and then when you need it, you pull it right out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
last question. Um, as a business owner yourself, what advice do you give other small business owners that want to start to build their businesses?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing was, I talk to people all the time about entrepreneurship because they know I'm an entrepreneur. So they just love talking about it with me. They're just like, I'm ready to quit my job. I don't want to work for anyone anymore and do all these things. And I'm just like, listen, it's a misconception because I work for so many. I work for myself, but I have so many people I answer to. Um, and there's so many logistics that people want to think about when it comes to business. But one of my biggest things is, again, having a holistic approach is, are you mentally ready to be in that space? Because the only person who is going to stand in your way of having a successful business is simply just yourself. And so many people are like, well, what about the funding and what about the idea and the branding and the website? And I'm like, yeah, no, that'll come. But are you ready? Are
Yeah,
you ready? Because those nights when you don't have motivation and all you have is discipline, do you have discipline?
yeah,
All those nights when no one cares that you didn't show up for work or that you didn't open your laptop, do you have the push from within to push yourself to do that? Or what about those times when everything is slow and nothing is working out how it needs to? Are you going to quit? Or what about all those things that you haven't dealt with from your past life that's stopping you from being your greatest self today? And honestly, you could say, you know what, I need to work on that. Or you could say, no, I am ready. I personally, when I started, I needed to work on all of that. And my business has developed as much as I have developed. And as much as I put into myself, my business has grown. And, you know, I'm a very feeling type of person. So when things are not right with me, sometimes we have to take a stillness season for the business because I'm not in the space to lead her. She's a girl. She's a girl, by the way. But I'm not in the space to lead her forward because right now I need to figure out what's going on with me first.
yeah,
So I can't lead my team. I can't lead the business properly. So we're going to have to keep going how we're going.
yeah,
Even if I feel uncomfortable, even if I feel like this doesn't make sense, because I have to work on me. So the more prepared you are and aligned with yourself, that's exactly how you're going to feel. Of course, then you're going to want to make sure you have a financial, cushion, whether that's having a partner, whether that's having a savings, whether it's having a loan, a grant, um, a job. Some people are so quick to quit their job. Keep your job. But there's an exit plan.
yep,
There's an exit plan. Because don't you stay in a job where someone can tell you how much you're going to make forever.
yep,
No. You want to be like, okay, I'm going to be at this job because I want to get this. When I can get this, then I can be here. So it's all about the preparation. And I think the moment that we're able to step outside of those emotions and say, yeah, I don't want to work for someone or I'm tired of doing this, that's fine. but let's have the plan first. How are we going to do this? Because then when you get there, everything is it makes so much more sense. So I definitely always push for the holistic approach and being mentally ready because it's a job and not everybody is ready for this because it takes looking at yourself every single day and calling, the bad things out, giving praise to the good things. So many people tell me, they're like, we're doing a great job. And I'm like, I wake up and sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Yep.
And so it's hard. And it's not just a simple, my friends are always like, you don't have a schedule. You can do what you want to do. And I'm like, is that what it looks like?
So you think at all that?
Is that what it looks like? I'm so happy it looks so seamless because, honey, it's crazy. You
Yeah.
know, and also too, kind of going back to what you were saying is being prepared to understand what situation you're in because as a mother, it gets difficult because I love what I do, right? So I found myself in this space this one time and I'm like, I started this because I wanted the leisure of time, and now I'm here, but I'm actually working a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually I haven't had the most time to take my kids to get ice cream or go to the zoo or a trip. But then you have to also understand like there are sacrifices that come with everything. When you
Yeah.
have a job and you can't be home with your kids all the time, it's a sacrifice. Just
Sacrifice.
because you run a business doesn't mean there's no sacrifices.
There's
And
sacrifices there
know,
too. You
exactly. And
can't
I
be
think
busy business.
exactly,
You
especially
don't
when
shut off.
you
This never shuts off.
no, and I think that was a big thing for me is like I had to learn to shut it off.
Yeah.
Like there's times I tell people sometimes I'm like, it's the weekend, I'm not working. I won't respond to a client until Monday, or I won't follow a client on social media, or, certain small things that you learn to differentiate because sometimes, we'll work with a client on a project and then they'll be viewing my story and I'm out to dinner with my friends and they're probably looking at me like, Miss Mamas, where is the project going to be in the inbox? And I'm just like, so I just think it's one of those things of like, running a business is beautiful. It's amazing. My mindset, my intellect has grown. The things that I've been able to show my children and my family, I've been able to literally turn my life into a 180, take myself from one space into another. But it has been hard, but it has only worked as much as I worked. And
Yeah.
so it's like, just make sure you're ready. Make sure you're healthy. Make sure you're ready. And make sure you have a good support system.
Yeah.
Make sure you have something holding on to. I put God above everything, but make sure you have something to hold on to 1,000% because without it, you're kind of like a wave, just waving. So
Yep. I understand that. That's where I'm at. Some days I wake up and I'm like, what did I get myself into? This is a
but
lot.
you love it.
But I love it. I love
Mm-hmm.
the thrill. I love the push. Even on days when I'm not feeling so confident.
Yeah,
And it was a push just for me to do this. Like I had
yeah.
to literally push myself to do. I haven't done a creative corner in like a year.
Oh
Because
my gosh, really?
yeah, because
I'm the first in a year.
yeah, in a year, first person in a year, because
I
I've
love it.
doing everything else from here to there,
Yeah.
really figure out and distinguish exactly what I want and how I want it and how do I want to come out into the world to make sure people understand what I'm here for. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I totally get exactly what you're saying. We are like that on every
Mm-hmm.
aspect of this thing.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So like you run really quickly a list of the service that you offer and just tell my audience how they can contact you and what social medias that you're on.
Yes. So we help clients with websites, so web design. So we can do a simple to intricate graphic design. So any of your design needs, whether you need wall decor, whether you need a pamphlet for your business, whether you need business cards, postcards, infographics, anything digital, we design it. We do photography, videography, we do a lot of like, content creation, stuff like that. Business development. We do have kind of like we do host classes. Though we're getting back into that, but like learning and teaching people exactly how to do things for themselves because I'm big on saving money. But we have a big focus, like I said, on social media and really just branding yourself and image. So, I always say it's kind of like, focus on your brand's image, but your image is just as important. Our website is www.guexperience.com. Some people say GU experience, but it's GU, Roundup Experience. And that is actually our handle on all social media. So,
Well, I'll
Roundup
be
Creative
sure to put
Agency.
all that in the description box and on this interview so everyone can be able to follow you and follow up. I just love this.
Yeah, I'm so thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great. It was great having you and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I
I'm going
appreciate you and I love what you do.
oh, that makes me feel good.
You said.
Well, I'm going to end this interview. And we'll talk. Thank you. Well, that about wraps up our conversation with Alyssa. It has been an absolute pleasure having her on our Creative Corner. Her insight and experience are truly inspiring to all of us. Remember, every small business owner's goals are precious and unique. If you enjoyed this latest episode, please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more inspiring stories from the Creative Corner side of business.